Tonight on CTV News, the saga continues for homeowners affected by dropped coastal hazards report. The Canterbury art scene is in for a treat with more exciting plans for the city. And remembering history, one snap at a time.
Broadcasting across Canterbury, from the CTV studio, this is First at 5.
Good evening. A South Shore resident believes the saga over the controversial coastal hazards report still has a long way to go. The report was dropped and will now start from scratch, but the aftermath of the process is still affecting many beachside residents, holding up their rebuilds and repairs. Here's Jared McCulloch.
It may be a picturesque day out in South Shore, but the problems surrounding coastal erosion are still on the minds of many. The controversial Coastal Hazards Report was scrapped in its third stage, affecting around 18,000 properties on seaside areas across the city. Central Government has stepped in to halt the process, wanting the issue to go through the Council's normal plan review process. Although a win for many, one resident says there's still a long way to go.
Getting building consent and resource consent, that's still on the limb. We still have to go through, it's like having a harness on ourselves, and we're really stressed. I didn't sleep all last night because we're just so worried and so concerned.
Some homeowners are still having issues with their limb reports, meaning they'll have difficulties with their earthquake repairs, rebuilds, and may have problems for future construction plans.
It's been really our biggest concern about how that affects us all and what those ramifications are, which we still all have yet to find out. Kapiti, the residents had it put on their limbs and they were successful. They legally challenged it and had it removed. So we're kind of taking some advice from that.
Carborn's home is a rebuild. She was lucky to be granted resource consent before the Coastal Hazards Report labelled others with the sea rise and erosion issues. But she's calling on Council to reassess the report completely and start from scratch.
We'd really like Council to take into account that they didn't consult with residents at this earlier stage of the report that came out, and the basis of the report is the Tonkin and Taylor report, and we have never been consulted about it.
The risk to homes is rising sea levels and erosion over the next 50 to 100 years, so she wants Council to act sooner rather than later.
We'll hope for a miracle and hope those councillors see sense, and we'd love to get a really good scientific report about our area that is factually correct.
Another hurdle in an already stressful rebuild for residents desperate for answers and action. Jared McCulloch, CTV News.
State Highway 73 has been closed to all traffic from Arthurs Pass to Aotearoa following rockfall. The slip at Aotearoa Gorge is above the rock shelter with approximately 200 cubic metres of rock on the road. Contractors at the site report rocks are still falling and there's about 100 metres of road guardrail missing. A helicopter inspection is being undertaken as well. The Transport Agency is due to update the situation later this evening. The red zone demolition took a challenging turn today with the start of 16 properties being demolished at Dean's Head. Gordon Finlay talks to the manager of the operation about the unique challenges faced with the clearance.
With the main road below the 16 properties spread up the steep 150-metre hill face, this operation has been a long time in the planning.
There's probably been 6 months worth of planning, maybe slightly more than that, and we expect to be here for another 6 months to a year doing our portion of the works. Those time frames are a little hard to determine in advance. We don't quite know what we're going to uncover as we start clearing the vegetation and pulling the houses down.
Although the time frame of the project is large, the work along the hill of Main Road, which connects Sumner and Redcliffs, isn't expected to impact traffic flow.
The main risk here is the proximity to the road, so we need to be really sure that we disrupt this road in the minimal amount possible and make sure that traffic can flow past. So the main risk here is the proximity to the road and the steepness of the site.
The demolition process will see the team take on one house at a time, with a double-pronged attack set to finish somewhere in the middle.
So we start at the top and the bottom. There's a series of houses much further up the hill. We'll go through those ones and come down and build a road on the way in. We'll demolish this house now, and you'll see they're prepping for that right now. That'll become a staging area for the houses above that. So the idea is to work into it incrementally.
The high-reach excavator crucial to this clearance job was in action today, starting on property number 1. It will slowly pick apart the house piece by piece, with the contractors taking a conservative approach, looking to save as much reusable steel as possible.
As we can sit the machinery quite far back from the building and just nibble our way in. It's safe and effective, and it's been trialled and all over the city. We've done this sort of demolition a number of times and really confident it's the right way to do it.
While this type of demolition may be reasonably common in the rebuild process, the challenge that the steepness of the hill provides does make it somewhat of a new thing.
It's not something that we haven't done before. We certainly haven't done a great deal of these. We expect to do a few more in the near future, but this is reasonably rare.
With the demolition process set to take between 6 months to a year, those who commute regularly to and from Sumner are sure to see this well-recognised hill take a slow but sure transformation. Gordon Findlater, CTV News.
A former Maritime New Zealand safety inspector has admitted fraud after he was charged in relation to Poku grant money. 55-year-old Jeffrey Horn appeared in the Christchurch District Court today, where he admitted falsifying 19 grant applications. He was sentenced to 6 months community detention and 400 hours of community work, the maximum for both types of these sentences. Horn has also been ordered to pay reparations of more than $47,000, the same amount he received dishonestly. He has already borrowed money to pay back the debt. Still to come here on CTV News, we meet a woman who's captured over 10 years of the tūhoi. The salvage effort continued today for the stricken MV tūhoi, and one local is capturing each moment, one snap at a time.
The deconstruction of the MV tūhoi continued early this morning, and there too was one local snapping every moment of it.
You've been up at the crack of dawn today, haven't you?
I have. Before sunrise.
Anne Lamb has taken hundreds of photos over the past 3 days of the stricken ship, wanting to showcase her snaps in a short film.
It takes quite a bit to do something like that. It's not just pull out 30 or 40 pictures. They've all got to be good ones, and they've got to tell the story.
Photography started out as a hobby. Now it's her passion.
Like older stuff. I'm really into anything old. Old inside old wrecked houses and everything.
Now she's adding to her collection of photos, taking snaps of the 96-year-old ship for more than 10 years, coming into port at Kaiapoi.
I was trying to go back on the hard drives yesterday, and what a job. I had about 4 or 5 of them hooked up at once. I've still got another 1 or 2 to sort out through several big folders of the earthquake ones, which I've stashed away somewhere.
She's capturing its last moments before it's taken apart over the next few days, unable to be salvaged as a whole.
They'd probably be able to preserve some of it somewhere. It would have been nice to have seen it. Say, for instance, like you go up the Thames in London and they have these permanent moorings for the old boats and that.
Taking photos of the MV tūhoi was a way to keep her chugging along.
Discovered I had a chronic illness. I thought, what am I going to do? Photography. Get my mind off of the things and outside of myself, and I got very competitive very quickly. Non-specific pneumonitis. It's scarring of the lungs. Then you have oxygen at night, but I managed to work around that to do what I have to do. My son watching over there, and he keep an eye on his old mother.
She's put forth her photos in numerous competitions, and she even has one for sale at a local cafe.
The people sort of stuff too is in their environment and the candid style of stuff. And I also like bird photography, anything I'll point my camera at. And I've travelled a bit and I've seen a lot, and I like older stuff. I'm really into anything old.
And she's not giving up her love for photography anytime soon.
Not until they bloody drop me in the hole.
Getting the best shot to capture a moment in time. Jared McCulloch, CTV News.
Well, look, some Christchurch artwork has sparked a massive public backlash. Some lend to more positive stories, apparently, to the rebuild of this city. The Centre for Contemporary Art is still in the process of starting up again since the 2011 earthquakes. Their Gloucester Street building is back in business, as Emma J. McCullum reports.
English import Paula Orell is directing the future of the Coca Gallery after curating collections in London for 15 years. She says the Coca Board's vision for the gallery was so inspiring, she simply had to take on the project.
So we're in the process of renovating and looking to open our doors to the public in February, which is really exciting.
While the gallery is being renovated for safety reasons, planners have gone the extra mile to make it more quake-proof and inviting than ever before. Extra money has been invested to increase the building's earthquake code from 33 to 66%. The new interior will also feature open skylights, computer-operated lighting and clean white spaces.
We'll have a cafe, which has never had before, which is great for us. We're really excited about the cafe space. And as you come in through the gallery, you come up this main stairs. We also have a lift as well. We're an accessible building. And you come up into this beautiful, magnificent gallery space, which is apparently heralded as one of the most amazing contemporary art spaces and galleries actually in New Zealand.
The gallery will not only be a space for traditional artworks, it will become a venue for other forms of the arts. Music, theatre and other live performances will be a large part of the new gallery. Young people will be encouraged to use the space to show off their creativity and bring back a little vibrancy to our city. Hopes are high that the art gallery will attract people into town, both locals and tourists travelling through New Zealand.
What the centre will do is bring people here from overseas, but also kind of nationally as well. So what we present, we hope, will attract the imagination of people to actually visit Christchurch and come and see Coca as well. That's the kind of scale of vision, but also ambition that we have as well for the centre.
The gallery is almost an artwork in itself, a great example of modernist architecture. The original beams and skylights have been exposed as part of the rebuild, stripping the space back to its architectural roots. And while Paula is only too happy to chat about inspiring people through art, the curator is reluctant to tell people what we can expect at the opening.
At the moment, we're actually not talking about the opening exhibition because we want to hold that as an opportunity really in the lead up to really surprise people with kind of what they will see. So if you don't mind, we want to kind of use that as a real potential to excite people, actually excite our audience and engage new people.
While there are likely to be updates leading into the big reopening, if you're interested in what Coca is going to look like, you might just have to wait until February. Emma Jane McLennan, CTV News.
An apology from Christchurch Hospital has fallen flat for a Birdlings flat artist who is dying of cancer after a misdiagnosis. Ian Robinson was discharged from hospital by a cardiologist in March with an inoperable tumour lying undetected in his chest. The aggressive cancer, which was not found until June, was progressed so much that he is now very weak and only has weeks to live. Robinson was not impressed by an apology sent to him by the DHB. He called it flawed and weak. Well, they call it a bit loony, but a huge part of the Littleton community, that's for sure. The Loons Theatre will be relocating along with the local school, but the company still needs a bit of a helping hand. Here's Chelsea Daniels.
Their original theatre was lost in the earthquakes, and now they're looking forward to a brand new space.
We've got a new home, and it is working in partnership with the Ministry of Education and also with Littleton Primary School. When the new school is being built, there's a hall that's being built along with that, and we sort of said to them, well, hey, instead of building a hall, why don't we make this a space that's going to be much more utilised and up-spec it to become a theatre. So at the end of all this, we're going to have a venue that is a school hall by day and is going to be a theatre space and a drama performing arts education centre by afternoon, evening, weekends and holidays.
The Loons Theatre Trust has become a big part in the Littleton community, and now they need a little help.
The Loons was created in 2007 and it was born from my business partner Mike Friend working with a bunch of students that had just graduated out of the CPIT Circo Arts program, and we created a show called The Butler, and that's where the theatre company was essentially formed from, and since then we've created a whole range of new works and utilising the skills of that theatre company.
The company came from humble beginnings to now teaching a wide skill set to children and adults alike.
Felt that we needed to find a venue that we could perform our own works and just also have a space where we could teach as well. So drama education and other performing arts skills as well, and teach that to children and adults.
The Trust has already raised over $170,000 with support from the Christchurch Earthquake Appeal Trust, the Todd and Lion Foundations, as well as private donors.
We need to come up with around about 400,000 to do all of that, and we're well on the way, which is great. We've already had grants and donations totalling around about 170,000, and we're just about to step into this big push to get the balance that we need for our retractable seating funds, which is our campaign that we're currently in now.
And Cribs says they still need all the help they can get.
We need to raise $70,000 in a 6-week window, so up until the 5th of November, and we're using a crowdfunding platform to achieve that, and the crowdfunding platform is called Boosted, which is run by an organisation called the Arts Foundation. So it's an all or nothing crowdfunding thing, as most of these sort of these types of things are. So for us, we have to hit the 70,000, otherwise it all goes back to the donors, and that. Achieving that 70,000 target will give us the balance that we need. We can purchase the seating or commit to the contract to purchase the seating, and come May next year when we open up, we'll have seats for people to sit on.
He says the theatre plays an important part in developing the local kids and helping them build towards their future.
I think just the whole creative arm is fantastic, and it's great for not just for their theatrical sort of skills, but just they can carry that forward into other avenues of learning and just into their life as well. You know, children become more confident and all sorts, so that's really good.
The theatre will also be used as a performance venue for touring companies, live music, community events and the school theatre. Chelsea Daniels, CTV News.
Still to come here on CTV News, the region's weather. Welcome back to sport now, and the Canterbury Bulls will face the final like no other atmosphere when they take on County's Manukau Stingrays this weekend. The two teams have a history with a series of drama at the end of the last season. Gordon Finlater has more.
Saturday afternoon's clash at AMI Stadium will have it all. With 2 rounds remaining in the competition, Counties and Canterbury look destined to meet in this year's grand final. Canterbury will be out to continue their unbeaten run, while the visitors will be looking for revenge. Counties thought they were heading to last year's grand final before being docked competition points for fielding ineligible players. One of those inquiries was launched by the Bulls.
Yeah, we're just going to be ready for a real good battle, especially after last year, what happened. There's plenty of motivation for them. They obviously got disqualified from the final, and, we heard that they're after revenge.
I can imagine there's going to be a bit of feeling come this weekend. They're not going to forget what happened last year. They were the only ones to beat us last year, and so looking forward to the contest on the weekend.
After a win against the Orcas in Wellington last weekend, the Bulls now have the extra motivation of a chance to secure a top spot in this year's competition. While the grand final is scheduled to be played in Auckland, the Bulls are already trying to pull some strings and give the competition's top qualifying team what they deserve, a home final.
If we finish first, we're hoping to get the final here. It was documented that it will be in Auckland, but we've already started the ball rolling there that hopefully it will be here at home.
To achieve this, the side will first have to dismiss Counties, which, as the team knows, is no easy task. Coach Daryl Code believes the key to success will be the team's defence.
For us to win the game this week, we have to defend well. That's where it starts. I know we can score points. Obviously, they can score points, but they've also had a few points scored against them. So, obviously, you can get some points up on them, and if we can defend the points that we put on them, hopefully that will see us good at the end of the game, and hopefully with the win. So, our focus solely this week is going to be mainly on defence.
Meanwhile, Captain Chris Bamford will have the task of making sure his pack can get go-forward ball against a big Counties squad.
counties. They've got a big forward pack, and once again our forward pack's got to really shine and be the best in the middle of the pack and go forward and just dominate their pack. Last year the forward pack's all the size of me, and they had some really good go forward and a lot of speed to finish out wide, so we definitely got to be physical up front and be going forward for the boys.
The Bulls will be without influential halfback Tiva Arona after the speedster suffered a head knock against Wellington. The coach is confident his team will still produce the goods though, having home ground advantage this season.
The boys love playing at home. It just, you get to sleep in your own bed the night before and see your families before you leave home, and your families come and support you and yell out for you. So it is a huge thing, and we've got a pretty good record here at home. And we're aware of that. So we want to make sure that we haven't played counties here at home over the last couple of years. We've always played them up in Auckland, so they don't know really what to expect when they come down here either. So we want to get out the gates pretty good this Saturday and show them what it's all about playing down here, and hopefully we can scare them enough and get the 2 points.
And here's hoping that home advantage will get the chance to be replicated in this year's grand final. Saturday's game kicks off at 2:30 from AMI Stadium. Gordon Findlater, CTV Sport.
Now it's time for the region's weather.
Kia ora Canterbury. Well, lovely sun-filled skies again today. Light winds for most places, but a few northeasterly winds for coastal areas. Today's highs first up, 16 degrees for Timaru and Twizel, 17 though for Waimate, Temuka and Geraldine. Central Canterbury, Christchurch on 17 degrees, along with Leeston and Darfield, 16 for you, Akaroa and Methven, and Ashburton, Utuka 18 today. Heading further north, Kaikoura 16 for you, 17 though for Cheviot and Rangiora, 18 there for Amberley, Hanna Springs, Culverden and Oxford. And over to the Alpine region, 17 degrees was the high for Mount Cook, 15 there for Lake Tekapo and a little bit cooler for you, Arthur's Pass, taking out 11. Now tomorrow, lovely and sunny for you, Timaru, 19 degrees is your expected high with gusty northerlies during the day. Ashburton, you can also expect a really warm one, 21 degrees coming your way with those northerly winds and 6 for your morning start. Christchurch, we're in for another 21 degrees as well. Let's hope it does reach that high because I want to see that sunshine. Northerly winds for you guys and 9, a lovely mild morning start for you. Kaikoura, sunny skies with that cloud increasing during the day, 19 degrees for your high there. Looking ahead to the rest of the Canterbury region for tomorrow's weather, sunshine and cloudy skies there for North Canterbury, so South Canterbury, northerly winds for everyone here and Twizel on 17 degrees. Central Canterbury, sunshine for you guys as well, 21 degrees is the expected high for you, Leeston, and 20 there for Akaroa and Darfield, shaping up to be a nice Thursday. Heading further north, that sunshine continues. Northwesterly winds for Cheviot, Hanna Springs and Culverden, 21 is the high there for Amberley and Rangiora with lovely sunshine-filled skies. And over to the Alpine region, bit of a contrast here. Heavy falls for you, Arthur's Pass and Mount Cook, and Arthur's Pass could be seeing a little bit of snow to the 1500 metre mark. Friday's looking good though, apart from a southerly change in the afternoon, could we bring a few showers with it, but lovely warm temperatures during the day. Saturday, great for your weekend, good for that Sea Fest in Kaikoura, 17 degrees is your high there, Kaikoura and Timaru, and 19 for Christchurch and Ashburton. The rest of the Canterbury region for the upcoming days can also see that sun on Friday. Again, that potential for rain to come through Friday afternoon and evening as we are seeing a southerly change, and watch the passes for those heavy falls. Saturday is looking dry and fine across the board. Northerly winds there breezing through in the afternoon, but lovely sun-filled skies for most of the day. So over the next few days we are expecting that sunshine, maybe just the odd shower on Friday afternoon with those southerly winds coming through. Enjoy that weekend, maybe get something planned for that lovely sunny Saturday coming up. And that's your weather update for Wednesday.
And that is CTV News. Have a good night.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.